because sometimes it can be offensive, but I think we all kind of get what I'm saying. I think that car in particular is the car that you bought, you knew something was wrong with it. Turns out it's deeper or worse, or something develops after you get it that drives the value down, or it's going to be extremely expensive to fix, or you find out something about it that changes your original feelings. Like you find out maybe you bought it from an individual, took it on trade, you put a little money in it, and then it later comes out when the title gets here, it's got like a some kind of brand, say former daily rental. I guess that's not too bad, but let's say anything, any kind of brand, former flood vehicle, rebuilt, whatever kind of branding, that could be the case. Maybe, you're on your third test drive and it starts slipping. Maybe, you've had it a while and the longer it just keeps killing batteries. Anyway, whatever the problem is with this car, it's the devil's curse and you do not like the car any longer. So I did over the years, we all run across these. So I think this is a great open forum to discuss how we get rid of these problems. And through the years, I've developed a few ways that I get rid of them. One, the very first thing sometimes I do, I look at it and decide whether or not I can just take the hit, because sometimes the time and the effort and the energy just isn't worth it. Let's say, but I'm going to minimize that hit. So if it's, if we're talking about me losing $1,000, or are we talking about me losing $3,000? $3,000 is a big pill to swallow. 300 or 400, okay, it's cost of doing business. 500 to 800, it's going to sting a little bit. 1,000's kind of like, that's really hurting my feelings. $1,000 loss hurts my feelings for real. So I'm not apt on it, but sometimes if you've got 10 grand laid up, you've got to take the $1,000 hit and you'll just have to make it on. But that's not always the norm. So maybe get into another situation where I got asked yesterday. By the way, the concert was great. He said, what the hell? Why not he going? I don't know if you are watching that tour or not, the Def Leppard / Journey tour, but it was great. I mean, those guys are, they've been touring for 40 years. They're like, they sound just as good as they did when I was like 16, 17 years old. I got to give them credit. I mean, I don't know how they keep their voices and between the drugs and everything they did as rock bands, but they did, and they sound great. So I'm nothing but love for those guys. But back to our subject. So how do I get rid of them? So first thing I look at is, can I take the hit? If I can take the hit, I'm probably going to just take the hit, because I hate spending time on spent money. So I've already spent it. You make the money when you buy the car. You don't make any money while you're figuring out what you're going to do with it. You make no money when you're literally selling it. You make the money, the profit made on that car is done the day you buy it. So now it's time to say goodbye, and it's a bad deal. It's gonna hurt, but a lot of times if it's under $1,000, this is what I do. But I realize some of your jobs will not allow you just to go losing thousands of dollars on a car to take a hit, especially if you're employed as a car buyer or a used car manager somewhere and you're watching this, somewhere in its rotation of life. But if in fact that you are able to take that hit, that's the fastest way, because when you get a new car, man, you just get excited about it. I mean, it's something fun to do. I mean, you're like, oh, you still love it. You got the feels. It likes you. You like it. We like each other. Everybody's happy. But once it's sat there and ain't nobody trying to buy it, nobody's interested in it, it's just a pain in the ass, especially if it's on floor plan, every month they're coming by and looking at it, and every time you look at it, you just got to look at your mistake. And we're no longer in love. So a few of the ways I do it is, one, I cut the loss. He asked also, would you just take it to auction and ram it through? Now, how would I cut the loss would be the better question. So I think privately, a lot of times, believe it or not, you can get you can get a little better hit publicly than you can through the auction most times. I give you an example. This is just throwing it out there. I had a 2005, I think, Land Rover, blew the timing chain, belt, whatever it has, and I just wasn't going to mess with it. I mean, I didn't buy it with knowing the timing was blown. With supposedly some other reason or whatever. But anyway, I got into it, and it was just like, all the shit it took to fix that thing, man. I had to get stuff from England. I had to do this. I had to do that. I mean, it was just a lot of crap involved in changing the timing on that. And I was like, there is no way in the world that I'm going to waste my time doing this. So I actually put it out and you sell the sizzle. So took all the pictures just like it was retail ready, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. I hit all the high notes, everything wrong with it. And then at the end of it, I just put the only thing it's going to need is boom, and I went and spelled it out. Now, at the end of the day, what ended up happening was I ended up making $1,500 on that truck. I mean, I bought it right to start with, thank God, but I made profit even though it was, but if I had kept on it and I just paid somebody to fix it because I wanted to do the right thing and sell it nice and blah, 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 there's no way I would have lost my ever-living ass. I mean, it would have just happened. So sometimes you can just retail them out and, put some lipstick on the old pig. Lipstick up the pig. That's what you do. Put the lipstick on the pig. That's one way. The other way is the auction. Now, how do you run it through auction? Obviously, through auction, it's coming back to you if you try to hustle somebody, if you put it under a green light. So just red light that thing, cross your fingers, and hope for the best. You just tell people, hey, it ain't coming back home today. Put the plow in and get the crops growing, baby, because it's just time to roll. So, and sometimes at the auction, if people know that you're going to sell that car no matter what, and they know that they're buying it, sometimes you just get ridiculous money. I made a mistake on a van one time. I don't know, I'd been drinking beer, blah, blah, blah. I'm shooting the shit with my buddies. I see this little minivan come up. Somebody wanted one. I just heard the number. It was like, I don't know, $500 or $600, and I bought it without thinking about it. Do you know this van, it did ride and drive, but it had over 400,000 miles on it. That's right. On top of 400,000 miles, it was branded as a taxi. On top of being a taxi, it had a rebuilt title, certified rebuilt, Florida rebuilt. This car was this is the biggest, no idiot could buy a worse car than when I bought that. You just couldn't do it. So I didn't even look at it. I just sent it to the next auction. I mean, I was that embarrassed. When I was signing the tickets, I was like, I'm just mentally done. So I turned around and I sent it to another Manheim's. And long story short, I get it to the other Manheim's, and I'm like, you know what? As bad as this van is, I don't even want to tell them it has 400,000 miles, so I'm going to add one more brand to this vehicle, True Miles Unknown. I figure that as bad as this car is, it couldn't do any worse. It's worse to know that it has 500,000 miles than it is to know that it's True Miles Unknown. Do you know that van, I don't remember if I paid $500 or $600. It wasn't much, but whatever. That thing made me like $700 or $800. Them guys went crazy. The bigger the piece of shit, the more they love it sometimes. So, yeah, take a shot at the auction. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, you're blacked out about it because you're not in love anymore. You just don't have the feels. You send it to the auction. You got some guy there that, for whatever reason, he's got a connection to it. And, those guys are a lot of times, they're not thinking because they're not doing the work themselves. They're like, it'll be all right. I just fix a little whatever. And it's a big pain in the ass, but he's just, you know what I mean? We try to justify stuff and make it seem like it's easier than it is. And that happens every day. So the auction is definitely a viable auction, a viable outlet to just dump it if you're going to. But be real. Like when you go there, be ready to sell it. I mean, just be like, if that's what I'm going to do, pretty it up much as you can. And know in your heart and soul what you're going to take for that sled. Because if you're going to take a hit, you might as well just man up and take it right there. I mean, just go ahead and be done with it. No retail problems is done. So that's good. All right. So that's the first two ways. They're kind of easy ways to do it. I mean, you just take your hit, selling it retail, or you wholesale it, through the auction. Or you can retail advertise it at your cost as a leader. I've done this a gazillion times. You put something that's ridiculously cheap on in an ad, and of course disclose what's wrong with it, and you would not believe how many people don't get what you're talking about and will say, well, so I can't drive it home? Well, no, sir, it's missing a transmission and engine. But what I do have is, so you can use it for an advertising ploy because you can advertise such a low price that, and maybe advertise it at a loss too. I mean, go ahead and get all you can get out of the traffic. And what's also going to happen is you're going to find somebody looking for that car that thinks they can fix it up too. So that's another good way if you just advertise it out and either A, sell it, or B, use it to flip people to other cars. I mean, that's what I do because they're already calling you. Let's just say it's a $5,000-$6,000 car. You've got it, listed for 2,500. I'm just throwing that out there, $3,000. All your $3,000 cars. Say, hey guys, listen. Yeah, that car's okay, but let me tell you what I got over here. You get where I'm going with this. You just tell them what else you got and let that car do its job for you. Because what other use is it? And you can use it until you're done with it, and then the hit doesn't feel so bad. You'd be like, all right, okay, it sucks. I'm going to lose $1,500, but I sold another 4 or 5 cars off of it, so it isn't as bad. Advertising. Okay, so now let me tell you what us as the big guys do. In how we get rid of inventory when it's upside down and makes you frown and you're not happy. And this is the trickiest shit in the world, and every car dealer, I don't know why we all do it, but we all are willing to play the game, and every one of us get porked, and it's the stupidest thing you could ever do. But sometimes, because it's new inventory to you and gives you an opportunity to do something different, you can win. And that is bundle trading. So I can't tell you how many guys right now tonight in the United States, there's used car managers in every state, period, that are out there getting a package together for some wholesaler somewhere to see if he can take his 90-day-old cars and trade them for somebody else's cars. You're like, why would you do that? That's crazy. They got 5, 6 cars, maybe 7 or 8, whatever the package is, but they got a whole line of overvalued cars they can't sell. And here's what you're doing. You're up against a hard line when you do this. And the hard line is this. As a dealer, if you have a franchise, or if you're under floor plan, or if you're on a float program with an auction, they're going to put a time limit on how long you can own the car. So this is like some real internal stuff we're getting into here. So if we have a floor, and what happens is they're only going to floor plan it for 90 days because they know what? They know that it's an appreciating asset, and the car, you paid too much. They want you to take the hit. You effed up that you're not allowed to refloor it, pay up or shut up. So a lot of dealers don't want to get cash poor. Now think about this. Think about if you had $10,000 cars, that's $100,000. You still got plenty of floor plan, but you got $100,000 tied up on stuff that you've already showed customers you can't sell, you don't want. It's kind of depreciating whatsoever, whatever. So then the other guy's in the same boat. He'll have roughly, that's how they do it. They'll take $100,000 for $100,000 or whatever, and you just kind of mix the cars you want in it. So basically, the one dealer buys it from the other dealer, and that dealer buys his shit from him. And we're all buying cars way too, hold on, let me decline that. We're all buying cars for way too heavy or way too much money, so to say. But that what it does, it buys you 90 days out. So that's, and a lot of times, if you do that a couple times, you can usually retail your way out. That's the only way you get out of the trade is retailing. You retail. But if you don't have a strong retail operation, this isn't the way to go. But if you do, you're not using your own money. It's called OPM, other people's money. And if you're using other people's money and you've only got a 21-day float, or you've got a 30-day hard line with MAF, or you've got whoever's got you 60, 90, whatever your turnaround time is, you may need to have a partner out there that has a good floor plan as well that can buy you out to keep your ass from getting in trouble, and that you can buy them out and keep them from getting in trouble. And that's, they say they're thick as thieves. That's where it comes from, because they literally are. We got to scratch each other's back to help one another out. So in your market, wherever you're in, it doesn't matter what size dealer you are, there's going to be guys that are in the same boat and you'll get to learn them at the auction. You'll find out who's floor planning what. It doesn't take long. And you start kind of buddying up and partnering. And once you do that, then you got the ability you got a back door. So instead of them calling you on your note 90 days into it and they're like, hey, give me 100 grand right now. And you're like, oh shit, I got to have a fire sale. So you go take everything to the auction, sell it for whatever it's going to bring. And then you take a loss right there, or don't take the loss, put it on someone else's floor plan, buy some of their stuff from them, and everybody helps everybody. And then that keeps you from taking a major loss. But that's generally speaking for retail ready cars. That doesn't generally happen on cars that are projects that are broken down. That's kind of like if you had, I'm just saying, a Ford Motor Credit was looking at your shit and they're like, we're done floor planning these 10 cars or 15 cars. You're either going to have to wholesale them for what they're worth, and the wholesaler's going to try to rob you because that's what he does. Or you're going to have a buddy at another dealership that you can swap with, maybe at the GM store or whatever. You just start getting inventory, moving it around, and that's what used car managers are supposed to be doing, and that's how we're supposed to work the program. Yeah, okay, all right. So here we go. Let's say what's up. Let me catch up with everybody here. Let's say here. All right. Oh wow, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Okay. Hey, what's going on? Okay, hello, okay. What's up, Adam? Big Cliffy's in the house. Remove the body to fix. Yes. If you want another for spare parts. Hi, Wave. I see designs. I wonder if that's my girl. That might be my girl talking with her little design program. Okay, Auto Buff, what's up? Auto Buff's in the house. Benny, what's up, Benny? Oh, and then Auto History. What do you think about donations and bad inventory of charity? Instead of selling off at a loss, get yourself full value tax loss. Let's talk about that. That's actually a very valid question. If you're highly profitable, oh good, okay, all right, we're going to come back to my girl here. It's her, okay. So if you're highly profitable and you're in that type of situation where you're making, if you're in a profitable plus, if you're staying in the black every month, hell yes, take a full retail write-off, because you're going to get 30% or actually 100% of non-taxable. Well, I guess it would depend on how much. For a cheap car, yes. On a car that costs more than $2,000 or $3,000, probably not. I would have to say on a cheap one, say less than $800, $1,000. Yeah, take the write-off. You ain't gonna lose anything. But if anything more than that, I would stay and get my cash. That's just how I would do it. Now I can see why you. Now if it's a good, like we have, I'm trying to think of what they're called, DAV, Disabled American Veterans, and it's like kind of like a thrift place. But I think they take donations like cars and stuff too. I think I heard someone saying that. If anybody knows anything about their operation, they can let me know. But if it's something like that, and you're like trying to just be good guy, I could see that. But business wise and a business model sense, I'm 50-50 on that. If I'm going to really make out on the write-off, or if I'm going to be able to take more cash to send it through the auction, cash in hand. This business is all about how much money you got every single day. That's all that matters. The rest is not even relevant. We're not relevant. I'm not relevant. You're not relevant. We all suck. We're all just lucky. Luck is when chance meets the prepared mind. That's what chance is, or that's what luck is. And I always say you'll get luckier and luckier the more money you get. You'll find that out. All right, guys. So that's kind of pretty much how I base my losses. As far as that's kind of how I work them. I'm either taking that hit, I try to make it as mild as possible retail, or if I can't do that, then I will try to get something going at the auction, give me a little hook going at the auction. And if I can't get that done at the end of the day, and it's just good inventory, it's just aged out, then I'm going to try to do the swap thing if I can. Now, some your flooring companies will let you refloor them, and in that case, you're just going to pay another couple $100. But usually, it's kind of like most things that are not good for you. You just need to cut it in half. If you smoke cigarettes and a daughter's telling you if you want to stop coughing, stop smoking, you probably got to stop smoking. And you probably need to let go of that car, because it's just going to keep losing you money, because the golden rule in the car business will never change. It is, you have in fact made your profit the day that you hand the money over and purchase that vehicle. It will never be any greater. After that, You're against the clock. The more the clock goes down, after a week, you've lost all your ass anyway, so it's time to move on. I mean, if you're fast turn, if you're full, retail, you can do up to a 90-day turn, which is horrible, but you can do it. Most of them, I think, nationally are probably at 30, 45 days. They consider that pretty healthy. I don't. I like it faster, but whatever. Well, it depends on what your financial situation is, and how and what your mark. You know what I'm saying. It all kind of depends on you and what works for you. All right, guys. I think that does it. Now, listen, my girl here that you see on Icy Designs right here, she's going to be coming up from Tennessee tomorrow. So you have safe driving. And she's going to be taking over all of our stuff that has to do with getting all the shit y'all been waiting on forever. Fast sales, 3 to 7 days. Yes. LMO, laughing. Is this supposed to be LMAO? I don't know what. I don't know if you got me messed up there. IMO. All right, yeah. So anyway, if y'all got come up with these designs, she's the legit designer that's going to be designing it. And we were talking about me being the character being a bodybuilder clone of myself, and it turned out pretty funny. She actually did it. It's hilarious as hell. I mean, I can't wait for her to start posting this stuff. But she's going to be here tomorrow, and she's going to be taking over and picking up where the website crashed, and she's going to be putting that together. And all our graphics and everything. So it's on now. She's on the team. And I cannot wait to get her up here. I hope she's coming tomorrow, and safe travels, my dear. All right. Anybody got any questions, or anybody got anything else that's getting on? Yeah, she's the getting stuff done gal. I love it. Getting stuff done. All right, guys. Well, look. I think I've covered it. I think that's what we're going to do. And next week, we're going to be taking on a different format because we do have so much going on now. We've got our girl here is going to be taking over a lot of stuff. So we're going to be moving in a really fast gear. And I think I'm going to start next week. I'm going to start getting into the basics because remember I told you guys I kind of have my ebooks done. So I'm going to start with them as far as I'm going to start narrating. Basically, I'm going to start getting into the different chapters. Not that specifically, but I'm going to get into the different chapters because they're all going into it's getting ready to be released. And when it is, I want to have a full, you know what I mean? I want a full playlist of what's going on with it. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to be New York bestsellers, but it would be more comfortable, especially if you're just starting in this business, if you had like an outline and a blueprint of how to do it. Or some kind of craziness like that. All right, nothing but peace and love from the RVA. And you guys need anything right now for a holla out? Or y'all good? Waiting. All right, I don't see anything going on. All right, Big Cliffy. What's the Big Cliffy? What's the weather like down there? By the way, waiting. Where's everybody coming from tonight? Check in. I guess we'll find out. Doggy food en route. That's awesome. I'm going to love Icy Designs. All right, guys. Okay, I guess everybody's kind of like Texas. Yeah, that's right, Dan. I got you, baby. I know where you're coming from. All right. And Piney Flats, Tennessee. Rain for the next 2 days. Dang. Hey, man, living in paradise ain't always living in paradise, is it, my man? The man lives in paradise, folks. He's got it made out there in the island, Kentucky. Performance Cars. What's up, my man? Oh, cool. Kentucky. That'll work. All right, guys. So, all right. So listen to this, guys. Anything you got coming up, just because we're doing the Tuesday thing, don't sweat it. If you need anything, just hit me up because I don't care. I'll do a video in the middle of the day if you need me to on something. I don't give a shit. Whatever. If you got a jam or a problem, it's a good halfway decent video and I can add anything to it, do it. I'm always available, always at your fingertips. Bam, you got the CarMan just that quick. You can also hit us up on, what's that website? You know what? My girl gets here tomorrow. She's going to make me appropriate. I'm going to be appropriate for all the little website stuff. Y'all, I mean, whatever they're called.
Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, yeah, Facebook and Instagram. That's what they are. Never mind. I need help. Okay, well, she'll take care of it. All right, so we will see you guys next Tuesday. Need anything, dial me up. See you later, baby.